Hello, this is Sarita, and I'm here to help you understand the truth about who you are. So what I wanted to talk to you about today and then offer you a meditation for was accessing the void. What is the void? Why is it important? Why do we access it? And how is it that the void creates states of being where people have instantaneous healing experiences, and also how the void is essential as an access point in order to be able to manifest our realities with more ease and efficacy, so we're not running from our unconscious programs. So basically the void is, if you like, the infinite realm of space. It's a pre-creational space where all potential exists and where we've been able to let go of our perceived attachments to our individuated selves. So we're not being run from the ideas about who we think we are and with all the limitations that come with that. And you can probably see why being able to access the void is going to allow you to create something completely new, to heal yourself from a disease that's long-term ingrained in you, or to change your reality at will completely from the reality that's familiar to you, the old patterning and ways of being. So the void is this, it's like a cosmic wombic space. It's the place where the energy of source consciousness in a kind of cosmic womb lives. And this energy is waiting to be created into something. There's no limits to what can be created from this space, because it's an encompassing realm that holds the infinite intelligence of the creator, which I'm going to call source consciousness. So everything there is, if you like, waiting to be birthed into something new. Now, what that means is that the energy in the void is essentially the energy of unconditional love. There is no limitations in this. There is no expectations or ideas about how things should be, because it's basically the space that holds the energy of infinity. So there's nothing that can't be created. It's only limited by our perceptions and our ideas and constraints about what we can create. Now, if you've got a good imagination, there's no limit to that. If you've been working on your kind of inner self and releasing yourself from your boundaries and your constraints and your trauma and your patterning, what happens is your perception expands, and you can then create anything that you can imagine once you are in this space. Okay, so the space itself has no limit on what can be created. It's us that's limiting it. And the thing about the energy of the void and why it's so important to access it is it's basically like being able to access the mind of God, if you like. You're merging your consciousness, which in this third dimensional reality is kind of constrained by the limits of who you think you are and your personality and your lifetimes and all the different things that have happened to you. But once you merge this fractalized piece of source consciousness that's you with the creator consciousness in its pre-creational form, which is limitless, you then, to all intents and purposes, have become source. You've become the creator, so you can create anything. That's why it's really important to access that, because once you access, if you like, the mind of God, God's kind of the wrong word to use in this context, but let's say God or the creator, you can release the limitations of what you think you know yourself to be. And then everything is accessible and nothing is impossible. So you go into this space where you become the mind of God. And just being able to access that space is in and of itself the most extraordinary and profound sensation and experience. And after you've done a lot of meditating and a lot of inner work and work with your patterns and things like that, you'll be able to access this space more and more easily. And for myself, which is the only person I can really speak about, what happens to me is I pretty much access this space at least once a day, because what I do is at the end of the day, when the whole household is asleep and everything's quiet and everything that needs to be done is done, I then spend my time going into meditative states. And so I've been doing this practice a long time, and it's got to the point where when I close my eyes, it really can take me less than 1 minute to become the void. It's the void of infinite potential. And I just find myself kind of whooshing into this connection with source consciousness. And often it's just such a beautiful experience. I don't do anything with it. I just sort of feel myself as the void. And what happens is, when you sit in this space, you can literally feel the whole universe within you. It's nuts. It's just absolutely amazing. And so the idea is that once you get into this space where everything is infinite and potential is not limited, you then are, in many cases, going to find yourself automatically experiencing instantaneous healings. And if that's not what you're after from the void, you're then able to access a more efficient way to manifest. And this is because when you are essentially merged with the mind of the creator, what happens is you've dropped the limitations of this little self, and so you can then create a new reality, because so many of us are creating from the familiar and the pattern of what we've done before, and that obviously is going to limit us because we haven't got this expanded conscious awareness of what's possible, because the unconscious within us is actually running the show. But when you become merged with the mind of God, you don't have those limitations, because you're both yourself as a fractalized piece of source consciousness, but you're also completely expanded as unlimited creator consciousness. And that's why it's so important to access this space before you kind of do anything else if you're trying to create something. Now, why do people receive instantaneous healings? It's because the energy of source consciousness is unconditional love. And unconditional love is the truth of who we are. And often dis-ease within us is a kind of uncomfortable rub of us not being able to express ourselves as who we truthfully are, because of our upbringing, because of what people have told us, because of the trauma that we're holding, and cellular patterns and ideas that have come through ancestry and karma and other lifetimes. And so the truth is that you are actually made of unconditional love. And I'm not talking about romantic love. which you could perceive as flighty, or we've been conditioned to perceive romantic love as something that we have to attach to, or we have to attain, or that's going to change our lives and all those kind of things. This is unconditional love. This is a completely raw power source. It's an extraordinary power source, and it's the power source on which our entire reality and our lives have been constructed, and the reality of the entire perceivable universe and everything beyond it. Unconditional love is just massive. I cannot even tell you how extraordinarily powerful it is, and also how beautiful and amazing and soft and light and wondrous it is as well. And when you tap into the unconditional love of the void and the source consciousness, and you allow yourself to receive that as a fractalized aspect of source consciousness, it literally changes your body at a cellular level instantaneously. And I've seen this happen. I've experienced it myself in my own body. But I tell you, this is where miracles come from. So what happens is it's that unconditional love, when you access the void, speaks to the truth of who you are, which is unconditional love. And what happens is that everything within you suddenly repatterns itself back into an alignment of the perfect blueprint and the symmetry of who you are, which is unconditional love. And unconditional love cannot hold within itself the dysfunctional patterning, because when there's a recognition of the truth of who you are, there's an instantaneous reorganization of all of the cells and structures and geometries within your body, your biofield, and your reality, which aligns to that truth. And so everything becomes perfection. So all of the symmetries, imagine that dis-ease is a kind of dysfunctional or dysregulated or ugly symmetry within you. It's not a beautiful symmetry that a snowflake might be, for example. It'll be like crumpled and there'll be bits missing and da-da-da. That's what dis-ease is. It's when the symmetry of who you are, or the geometry of who you are, has become dysregulated. And so when you tap into source consciousness and you tap into it yourself, which is basically you feel the unconditional love of that, everything within your being responds to that. Your body responds to that, because your body's made up of space and information and symmetry. Your biofield responds to that, because that's the kind of energetic principle that's creating the form of your reality. I'm using the word form, but there's no kind of matter in it really. And then that in turn affects your reality. So in the meditation that I'm about to share with you, what's going to happen is I'm going to give you access to source consciousness and the void. And through that access, I'm then going to enable you to experience what is in that void as a multi-sensory experience, which is unconditional love. And then you're going to receive that unconditional love into yourself as, if you like, part of that source consciousness. So the meditation I'm about to share with you is extraordinarily powerful. You'll feel it. If you get there, you'll feel it. And I feel that many of you will get there, because part of what I'm doing is I'm entraining people to be able to get there with more ease and efficacy, because I can get there with ease and efficacy. My biofield is set up so that everyone I come into connection with can get there with more ease and efficacy also. That's the way the mirror principle works in this reality. So that's what the void is. That's why it's so important to be able to access the void. And when I started this work, you know, like I'd be in meditation for like, I don't know, 2 hours. We trying to get into the void. I wouldn't quite get into it. A lot of that was because of fear, because we have fear of losing who we think we are, and we're accessing that kind of voided space. But the more and more I did the work, the quicker and quicker it took me to get into the void. And now, as I say, it's like 1 minute. It's 1 minute for me to access the void. And you can do this too. And it just feels incredible. So, having said all that, I'm now going to explain to you how the meditation is going to go. And then if you want to, you can go and play with the meditation and you're going to have an amazing time. So what I'm going to do is essentially I'm going to get you to relax. And I'm going to bring your awareness to your breath. And you're going to feel the darkness that's all around you when you close your eyes, and the darkness within you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you more and more into this darkness, because it's through the darkness that we can get into the void. And so I'm going to take you more and more into the darkness, and then I'm going to get you to perceive at some point that actually within that darkness of the void is this motion and light. It's the light of source consciousness that is held in the darkness of the void. And it's a kind of interesting light. I really see this light actually as quite golden. And you go into the darkness, and you suddenly realize that the darkness is full of source light. So once you've accessed that source light, I'm then going to get you to begin to perceive that that source light feels like love, unconditional love, this really sweet, soft, beautiful love. And then I'm going to get you to open yourself, which is now merged with the mind of the creator and source consciousness and the void and the womb of creation and the whole thing. It's like amazing. I'm going to get you to open yourself and start to see that you are attracting that source light towards you. And you're going to open yourself more and more, and you're going to receive the source light into you, and then you're going to start feeling that you are this unconditional, loving source light within you. And then that's the point where I'm going to just leave you with music. I'm going to just leave the music going for as long, a long time, so that once you've accessed that, you can just sit in that feeling. So if you are healing a disease, or you're trying to change your reality, you can just sit in that, and everything within you is going to kind of align itself to this unconditional love, unrestrained by the constraints that you yourself have placed upon you yourself in this reality, and just sit there and feel that. And you will feel healed. You will experience the aspects of yourself are healed, and then you'll come back and you'll see those working out in your third dimensional reality. And if you've got any kind of realization of who you are simultaneous to that, you could then send out your intention for something that you want to manifest if you're trying to change your reality. But really just sitting in the void in and of itself will align you to a higher reality that you're going to find more abundant, more healthy, more whole, more loving, more peaceful, more beautiful, and all of those good things. So if that sounds good to you, I'm going to invite you to sit up, take a breath in and out, and close your eyes. And feel the soft, sweet darkness that you have created with your choice to close your eyes. Feel how the darkness allows you to turn inwards. And as you turn inwards, you are bringing your awareness to the breath. Follow the breath with your attention as it flows into your body. Follow the breath with your attention as it flows out of your body. Feel your body and your mind settling down as you use your will to create absolute focus upon the breath. With every out-breath, you are allowing your body to relax more and more. With every out-breath, your nervous system is settling down. With every out-breath, you are releasing external stimulation. And all the while you feel the darkness all around you and the darkness within you. Feel how your breath and your focused attention upon it flows in the darkness. The darkness all around you is infinite. And the darkness within you is infinite also. A well with unfathomable depth. Slow the breath down. And as the breath flows in the darkness, I invite you to become aware if your attention drifts, if you become unfocused, if thoughts or feelings arise. And if they do, just notice them. Release your attention from them and bring your attention and your focus back to the breath. Breath in the darkness. And feel the boundary of your body between the darkness within you and the darkness all around you. Beginning to lose its definition. Feel the boundary of your perceived self dissolving and disintegrating in the darkness. So that the darkness within you and the darkness all around you become one deep pool of darkness. And take your awareness deeper and deeper into the darkness. How far does the darkness reach in front of you? How far does the darkness reach to your left and to your right? How far does the darkness reach behind you? And how far does the darkness reach above and below you? Expand your awareness. Go deeper and deeper into the infinity of the darkness. deeper and deeper. Let yourself go. Become the darkness. And as you feel into this infinity, you are beginning to perceive that within the darkness there is energy and motion and light. There is a light in the darkness all around you. The darkness holds light. Source light. Become more and more aware of the qualities of this light. Feel it more and more. And as you connect into and feel this light, you begin to perceive now that you are attracting the light. The direction of this light, its natural inclination is to flow towards you. And because there are no boundaries within your body, You are allowing this light to flow right into the center of your beingness, into the space within the darkness that you occupy. You are open to receive this light. And so the light flows into you. The light within the darkness. The light of Source. And as the light flows in to fill you, attracted by you, begin to feel that this light is the light of love. Unconditional love. And the light flows in, attracted by the beauty and the perfection of you. Loving you. And because you have merged your consciousness with the Source, you also begin to realize your own beauty and perfection. And how much love you have for yourself. And the light of love flows in. And you feel the love for yourself. How beautiful you are. How divine you are. How you are loved. How you are light. How you are made of Source light. Feel this love flowing in to your being. Received by you. A conscious connection from love to love. A conscious connection to receiving the love of Source Light. Open yourself more and more to receive and feel this love more and more. And allow the love of Source Light to reconfigure you back to the truth of who you are, to your original blueprint. Absolutely healed. Emotionally free. Divinely connected. And perfectly whole. finding your way gently, slowly back into the room and opening your eyes.